Welcome back to another episode of the Field of 68's 2023 NBA Draft Prospect Profiles. My name is Rob Doster. I'm joined today by Terrence Oglesby, and we are going to be breaking down the man that T.O. once said, what does he do? That is Colby Jones from Xavier, coming off a season where he averaged 15 points, 5.5 boards, 4.4 assists, and shot 51% from the floor and 38% from three. T.O., I got a fun fact for you. Did you know that Colby Jones is one of two players in all of college basketball this past season that averaged 15 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists while shooting at least 50% from the floor and 37% from three? The only other guy to do it, Jalen Pickett from Penn State. Colby Jones, 6'6", 205, a junior. What do you make of him? T.O., what does he do?
The answer is he does everything, and that is highly valued at the NBA level. And coming into the season, my biggest question was, is he going to be able to shoot the three ball all that well? And to be honest with you, Rob, his sophomore year, he didn't shoot it well, 29%. Nope. Then he moves it up to 37.8, and all of a sudden we have a big-time player. And it's because he does all those other things as well. He's a big, switchable, strong dude that can probably guard anywhere between 2 through 4 at the NBA level. And he's a good decision maker. He's somebody who can come in. He's going to be, if he's able to knock down shots, we're talking about a real difference maker in the form of potentially a Malcolm Brogdon, big, strong guy who has this unorthodox jump shot about him, but finds ways to impact winning. And through his first 2 years of college, he was good. He wasn't great. This last season playing for Sean Miller, he was great. And he took over in big stretches towards the end of the season, and he was really consistent. In 32 out of his 36 games, he was in double figures. And that's on top of being a big-time rebounder at almost 6 a game, on top of being a big-time playmaker at 4.4 assists a game, and somebody who was nearly at a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Colby Jones is a really good player, and you know what you're getting from the jump. Is he going to be this big-time shot creator for himself? No, he's not. But he's just another dribble, pass, shoot guy that the NBA values so much, who can run some point guard for you on occasion as a secondary ball handler, as a transition decision maker. And to be honest with you, I think playing for Sean Miller in that style of play is going to help him at the next level, just simply because he had to make so many decisions on the fly in that up-tempo offense.
Yeah, and the role that he played last year at Xavier is going to be exactly the role that he ends up playing in the NBA, right?
Right.
He averaged 15 and 4 assists, but the point guard on that team was Sully Boom. He was kind of a secondary off the ball, secondary action, attack a closeout, put you in a ball screen after you run something else towards the end of a clock. Like I loved your comparison to Malcolm Brogdon. The name that immediately popped to me was another guy that comes off the bench for the Celtics, Derek White. Just those big guards, guard different positions. You know they're going to be in the right spot defensively. They're not going to make mistakes with the ball in their hands. They can knock down a shot. Just good, solid, switchable rotation pieces at the NBA level that probably in like 8 years, you're going to look and be like, oh, wow, Colby Jones, he's still coming off the bench for somebody.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said there. The reason I picked Brogdon as opposed to White was simply because Brogdon takes what's given to him, where White's a little bit more aggressive in finding his own shots at times within that offense. So I think Brogdon, because of that big physicality and his ability to consistently be solid. He never gets too high, never gets too low. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. And to be honest with you, I met Malcolm Brogdon back when he was in high school. I was like, that kid's committed to Virginia? Boy. I mean, just does all the right things, defends at a high level, brings that big switchable body, and is just consistently solid. Colby Jones could be that guy for an NBA team for a long time because of the ability to do a lot of things. Now, counterpoint to that, the problem that you could run into with somebody with Colby Jones is the fact that he does a lot of things well. What does he do great? Where is his exceeding value? That's where the NBA can get a little bit tricky sometimes, because there's a lot of guys who do a lot of things. And whenever I ask that question, what does he do? This is what I was referring to. Is he an elite knockdown shooter?
No.
37% on a bit of a set shot in the NBA from the college line. I don't know, but can he be this cerebral playmaker that just does the right things consistently? I think that's possible too. And I think one of the reasons that Malcolm Brogdon has been so successful, he was in a poor draft class, one, so he wins Rookie of the Year. And two, he's able to find a role and get the right opportunity to let his career take off, despite not really having, a superstar ability, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there is no elite skill for Colby Jones beyond being elite at being versatile, if that makes sense, right? Like
his versatility is elite,
but there's not many guys that are his size, his strength, that have his passing ability, his shooting ability, and his level of efficiency and decision making. Right. And I do think that there's something to be said for that, but like at the end of the day, that gets you to a certain level in the league. And if your level in the league is as a player coming off the bench, like you got to find the right spot for you, because there are teams will take a risk on you if they can say like, look, there's a path to this dude becoming an all-star. Right. And I don't know if there's a path to Colby Jones becoming an all-star.
No, very little downside on the flip side of that. Like very little downside. You know what you're getting. It's just you have to find that right opportunity if you're a guy that just does everything.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
And that's kind of the tough part about somebody like Colby, but really good player. I think he's going to be a pro's pro. He interviews well. He's going to do all the right things off the court. That's one of the positives that you get about a young man like Colby Jones is you know what you're getting from the jump. He's been in college 3 years, which used to be, a bad thing. But 3 years, let's be honest, 3 years is a sweet spot, because if you stay 4, that means you weren't good enough to leave. So like 3 years is the sweet spot. He's done pretty much all he can do at the college level. This is a good player. Where I would pick him, it would depend on where my needs are, because I feel like he's a needs-based draft pick as opposed to an upside-based draft pick. But we've seen success with those guys in the past.
Yeah, you're picking him to play a role that is already defined within your roster. Where do you think he fits?
You know what? The good thing, you talked about ultra versatility. He fits pretty much everywhere. Really the thing that's going to differentiate is he going to be able to shoot 35 to 40%. That's going to be the differentiator, because if you can't shoot that number, you can't be on the NBA court. So like that's kind of the hang up. But to go back to this point, and I hate that I'm hammering it. We're doing 5 prospects, me and you, today. And I'm just going to leave the names out of it because we're separating them out. But 167, $195. 165, 205. Another 6'5", 185. 167, 185. This one's 6'6", 205. The only difference is he's had a couple more years in the weight room. And so that size, that versatility, there's a lot of guys like that. What does he do well? Can he be somebody like a Malcolm Brogdon that the team can rely on from a leadership perspective? He's got to get that opportunity to become that leader. That's why fit is so important, not only to whatever team he goes to, but to his long-term prospectus as an NBA basketball player.
Yeah, you mentioned the 3 years thing too. I do think that part of his value when compared to guys that are going to be freshmen or sophomores coming out of this year's draft that look like they're going to be a couple years away from contributing is that when you draft him, especially in the late first round, you know that each one of those 4 years on his guaranteed deal, he's going to actually be contributing to winning, as opposed to you got to pay this money, and he's going to be doing stuff in the G League to get ready to contribute in the 2025 season, right? And I think that when you are drafting these third-year guys, that's something that has to come into play, is that you're actually getting return. Now, look, the amount of money that you're getting on a guaranteed deal for an NBA franchise is like, it's pennies, right? Like what's $2 million to any of these franchises that are worth $6 billion or whatever?
No,
worth,
but Mo, but if people are invested in you, you're playing more. That's it's a tough. The NBA is a tough nut to crack. There's a reason, X amount of players stick, and a lot of it has to do with opportunity. There's a lot of guys that size with that ability. It's just a matter of, is the opportunity going to be right? Is he going to be able to provide value for his team immediately? Because that's when that fourth year, fifth year turns around and gets you. Like this, it's a hard gig, man, especially at that physical profile. Can you find the right spot to be the leader that you can be is going to determine his ultimate success.
Yeah, and it's also, don't be a pain in the ass, right? Because
in that role, you're
replaceable, man.
Don't be replaceable. Are you better than your problems? And let's be honest, Colby Jones better not be a whole lot of problems at the NBA level. At the NBA level, and I caught a lot of crap last year about being negative about some guys. I'm not being negative. I'm talking about the potential downfalls of certain players, especially certain players of a certain size and profile that don't necessarily do anything great. You better not be a pain in the butt.
Better not be a pain in the butt. Wise words from the Rifleman Terrence Oglesby himself. Listen, this has been our breakdown of Colby Jones.
Who is a huge pain in the butt. Who is a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our breakdown of Colby Jones. If you want to see more of these NBA draft prospect profiles, check the links in the description below. We have everything down there. And be sure to tune in. We will be doing a live mock draft with 6 NBA draft experts coming up 1 week before the actual NBA draft itself. Make sure you tune into that. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.